In the second tutorial on setting D values for trace and volatile elements, we discuss how Petrolog handles calculating partitioning of trace elements when they are included in the chosen phase melt equilibrium model. If trace elements are included in the model, you will have Y written here in the TR column for the particular models when they're included. You can see that model for olivine of Ford et al. 1983 doesn't include any trace elements, only major elements in olivine. Before we will consider how Petrolog handles this, let's load back the file we saved with D values during the first tutorial. We called that file mydset, and just to remind you, in that file we decided that we would like to calculate the partitioning of nickel between olivine and silicate melt by using the D model of BT 1991. So let's accept this model. As a reminder, on the form you can see that now it says that the D values are loaded from that particular file. This is a reminder for you. So now let's change the models which we use. So for olivine you can see the model of Herzberg and O'Hara contains trace elements because there is that blue square in the TR column. If you would like to know which specific elements are included in this model, please refer to the paper of Herzberg and O'Hara, and that's true for any model you would like to choose for calculations in Petrolog. Always check the paper if you want to know exactly how the model is working. Let's also select a model for sulfide, and let's select Kiseeva in wood, and you can see again this model will have some trace and volatile elements included. And let's also select the model for fluid, and if we select the model of Eacona and Marciana, again you can see that obviously volatile elements are included because it's a fluid model, but there may be some other trace elements included as well. Now if we go back to the form with D values, what you'll see is that the form has changed. And you can see that now for sulfide, a set of elements will be calculated following the model we've selected. The same is true for fluid. Water and carbon dioxide will be calculated obviously using the fluid model, but also you can see that the model for nickel and olivine has changed. It will now be calculated using the Herzberg and O'Hara model because that model includes nickel. If we don't like these choices, we can override them. Let's say we believe that the vanadium partitioning is a constant value of 0.1 and we don't want to follow the model. So what we do, we just replace it with 0.1, and then that's how vanadium will be calculated. But for all other elements we will use the model of Kiseeva in wood. We can also change the Herzberg model back to BT91 if we believe that we would like to calculate nickel partitioning using that model, even though the Herzberg and O'Hara model includes nickel. So Petrolog gives you a lot of flexibility here on how to do it, but one suggestion is always first choose the models you want to use for phase melt equilibrium and then come here to set the D value, so you don't need to come here twice and set back your choices which were there previously before you selected the model. So let's choose save this set again, and we can save it, and let's give it a different name. So let's say that was my D set, and we now call it my D set 1. The reason I would like to save it is that this particular set of D values is actually linked to the phase melt equilibrium models which we select. If we change the model for fluid or for sulfide or for olivine, these would not be applicable. The Petrolog wouldn't be able to calculate. So this set now, set 1, is linked to the models which we selected. Now once we close the form, you can see again that we have he reminds us that now we saved the current set into my dset1 file. Now what we can do is we can set the calculation parameters we currently have, and when we are saving them we can also save the file with d values together with the parameters, so they are saved together and can be loaded together. If you would like to save the file with the d values together with parameters, you can come to the options form and check that there is a tick here, second from the top, save this file name with parameters. And if it's ticked, then when we save parameters, let's call them my parameters, that name of the file will be included in here. And now if we want to do calculations tomorrow, we can come and load the parameters files and the d's will be loaded as well. To show you this, we can imitate starting Petrolog again. The simplest way to do it is to reset program defaults. And now if we come here and load the file, my parameters, which we just saved, you can see that everything has come back, and that tells you that the d's values are now loaded from my dset1 file. If we want to check that it's true, we're going here and we can see all the values which we've selected being brought back for calculations, and we can start calculation if that's what we want to do. Now, one last thing to point out, that the location of the file needs to remain where you saved it, otherwise Petrolog wouldn't find it again. So here we have my parameters and my dset together with the main Petrolog file. So if that's how you save them, that's where they need to remain in order for Petrolog to load the d values together with parameters. That's the end of this tutorial.